Hello and welcome to this course, 7 Simple Steps to Calm Your Worried Mind and Ease Anxiety. My name is Dr. Stem. I'm a mental health provider in the Orlando, Florida area. I've been providing mental health counseling, life coaching, career and business coaching for over 20 years. And I'm excited to bring this, course or training to you because of my concern that a lot of people are going through excessive worry and anxiety and are in need of some other coping skills in addition to what you've been doing that might help you feel better and manage this excessive worry and anxiety. So before I begin, I just want to let you know I'm one of those people that loves to interact with people as if I can see you in person, that you're around here with me. So what I want to do is ask you to get yourself pieces of paper, like pieces of paper or a notebook and a pen so that you can write with me as I ask questions, as I brainstorm with you, so that you are really present with me. That way we can share some of these coping skills that I'll be sharing with you. So I'll give you 1 second so that you can just, look around, get yourself a piece of paper, not just one, a lot, because we're going to be writing and doing quite a few stuff, right? Okay, you ready? Let's do this. So this is just a reminder that it won't hurt forever. Every day is not going to be the same. Things will change. However, we have to continue to be in control of our minds and our lives to the best of our abilities. Before I even start sharing what are some of the causes of anxiety, let me just remind you that 1 in 4 people in general, 1 in 4 will struggle with mental health at some point in their lives. And with the coronavirus pandemic, unfortunately, we have, tripled up. I think it's now probably 2 or 3 in 4 people are now struggling with worry and anxiety because of the crisis of the pandemic that, we have learned about this year. So what are some of those things that can cause or drive us to that excessive worry or anxiety? The pandemic, of course, as you know, a stressful job or work environment, a stressful home or home environment can also, cause excessive worry and triggers. Stressful marriage, a stressful relationship, a stressful parent-child relationship, driving or traveling. Sometimes it's genetics. It runs in the family, the anxiety. And then withdrawal from drugs or certain medications will also cause or trigger worry and anxiety. Side effects of some medications can also cause anxiety. Trauma of any kind at any age can, cause excessive anxiety. And then some people will have worry and anxiety because they have what we call phobias. They have an excessive fear of, snakes, flying, fear of something, else, especially like, claustrophobia, which is a fear of small spaces, which a lot of people, we've been getting many phone calls from people that are struggling with that because now they're in the home with everyone. So the space becomes very small for them. We also have people, whose triggers are chronic illnesses like heart disease, diabetes, or asthma. Chronic pain is that pain that you have all the time. They have pain all the time and for a long, long time. Depression and, anything with caffeine, that is drinks, coffee, tea, anything that has caffeine can also cause anxiety or what we call excessive worry. So how much is too much worrying? You might, be asking that. Well, anything that you can't stop worrying, you can't stop having doubts about something, you can't stop just being afraid, no matter who you talk to, what you try to do, you can't stop. It's constant worrying and negative thinking. That is too much. And yes, it is of concern if you're struggling with that and you have moments that you have what we call chronic again, where you are constantly worried or constantly being anxious and you can't stop it, then that's worrying too much. But the good thing is you actually can train your brain to stay calm and to deal with all those anxieties. So that's the good thing that I want you to remember. And I want you to know that, yes, you can get treatment, and yes, you can train your brain to relax and keep calm so that you're not in a constant state of worry. And why is it so hard to stop worrying? Well, constant worrying can take a heavy toll on everybody and anybody. It can keep you up at night and make you tense and edgy during the day as well. So even though you hate feeling like a nervous wreck, it can still be so difficult sometimes to stop it. Actually, it becomes even worse when you're fighting for it to stop and you're fighting for, I can't stand feeling this way. I don't like fighting, feeling the way that I'm feeling now. The more that you do that, if you've noticed, the more that you get worried, it becomes even more excessive, right? So for most chronic warriors, the anxious thoughts are fueled by beliefs, both negative and positive beliefs that they hold about their worrying. The negative beliefs, they are, at that point where they may believe that their constant worrying is harmful, that their constant worrying is going to make them crazy, go crazy, and be put in a crazy home. Their constant worry is going to make them look crazy around loved ones or around people that they can see that they are worried. So with the negative beliefs, these are the beliefs that they are believing, that people can see it and they can think that I'm crazy, people can see it and I will end up in a crazy home. So it makes you worry even more when you have those beliefs, and understanding that you might be going crazy or you might be locked up because now you worry all the time. And then the positive beliefs, you may believe that your worrying actually helps you avoid bad things. It prevents you from facing problems, or, it also helps you prepare for the worst. So I get worried so that I can prepare for the worst. But then it's becoming too much where everything you worry about and everything you come up with the worst scenario, so that you say to yourself, I'm preparing for the worst. So it's a good thing that I'm worried, but then at the same time, it's actually not a good thing, because the worry now becomes so excessive that it gets in the way of you relaxing and preparing for any of those moments that you might be, anticipating in your life. So once you realize that worrying is the problem, not your solution when it comes to these positive beliefs, you can now regain control of your worried mind. And that's what we're trying to do with this training. So how then do you stop, worrying? We'll talk about this first tip. You want to create a worry period, a time that you say, you know what, this is the time that I'm going to set aside, and I'm going to call it my worry time, my worry period. I know it sounds weird, because when I'm working with people and I say, choose a set of time and a place for worrying, that you should be at the same place, same time every day. And this is my time for worrying, that you can say to yourself, I'm going to give myself 15 minutes every day, and I'll sit in my bathroom and make that my worry time. But as soon as that time is finished, if I give myself 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever that I'm supposed to be worrying about for that day or that time, then I cannot accept worrying again any other time besides that time that I've set aside for my time. At that time, you want to write down your worries. What is it that I'm worried about? What is it that is bothering me? What's going on in my mind? Write it down, so that when you're in that space and the time that you set aside, for the time, you look at that worry list during your worry period. If the thoughts that you wrote down are still bothering you, allow yourself to worry about them, but only for the 15 minutes. I'm saying that 15 minutes because for me, I don't even want to give 5 minutes to worry. But if I do, I'll give it 15 minutes, and that's the most time that I'll give myself, that time. But as you examine your worries in that time, in that moment, right, you'll find it easier to develop a more balanced perspective. You'll find it easier to enjoy the 23 plus hours of your day because it's a worry-free zone. I'm not going to worry about anything else in the 23 hours. I'll give myself that 15 minutes a day that I've given myself, sit in my bathroom or sit in my bedroom, sit in my study, in my kitchen, wherever I decide that I'm going to be sitting, and making that a worry period, bring my little book with my list of the worries that I have, or that I want to write down. And then after that time, no more worrying, worry zone. So go over your worry list during the 15 minutes, 10-minute period that you've programmed for yourself. Try to make it every day that you give yourself that little time frame, that this is my time frame, and I put myself for 15 or 10 minutes. My alarm is gone. Okay, I'm done with the worry. I'm not going to worry about it again. I'll deal with it, tomorrow. So what now you have is a whole 23 hours of doing something positive, of doing something that is interesting and not just worrying. I hope as we're doing through this, you're looking at these beautiful pictures. I'm a water person. I live in Orlando, Florida. So, being by the ocean is one of my worry-free zone. So I hope you go there with me and look at the pictures of the ocean as we are talking about this. Tip number 2, you want to challenge your anxious thoughts. If you suffer from anxiety or chronic worry, chances are you tend to look at the world in ways that make it seem more threatening, more fearful than it really is. So, for example, you may overstate the possibility that things will turn out really, really bad, and you jump into conclusions that things are going to take out bad, when in fact, you don't even have proof that things will turn out really bad, or that, you will experience things turning out really bad. So those type of thoughts are what we call cognitive distortions. Cognitive distortions. Some of those, thoughts or thinking patterns are what I have on the screen for you. All or nothing thinking. This is when you look at things in black and white. It's either good or bad. It stands this or that. So you don't have any middle ground where you could say, well, I know that it says it might thunder and there might be a storm, but what if there's no storm? Your mind, when you're all or nothing, no. If it says it's stormy, then you're saying it's storming, it's going to storm, it's really bad. I don't care if it doesn't or anything. It's just all or nothing, black and white thinking. And then we have what we call overgeneralization, that is, expecting things to even be more exaggerated than they are. You generalize everything rather than look at things as a single episode to say just this situation is a single situation. You want to make it as if it happens all the time or it happens to everyone. Focusing on the negative while filtering out the positive. This is noticing the one thing that, all things that went right. I got the question on the test wrong, so I'm an idiot. So a person takes a test and they say, well, I got this wrong, so that means I'm no good, I'm a failure. I got this project wrong at work, that means I'm no good, I'm a failure. My spouse says, I'm not a good person, I'm not a good husband, I'm not a good wife, that means I'm really not a good wife or husband, rather than just looking at it from, okay, he or she was mad at this moment and said something that probably they will regret saying. I don't have to take ownership of that, because then I know in general, I'm really good. I made a mistake for this moment this time, but that's not me all the time. The other thought that a person with anxiety can come up with is coming up with the reasons why positive events don't count. So they want to make everything seem and appear to be negative all the time. Their focus is on the negativity of any events, or any situations that they're going through. So there's not room for positivity in there. They think making negative interpretations without the actual evidence, everything is seen as bad, but they don't have proof for it. They expect the worst case scenarios to happen. They believe that the way you feel reflects your reality. If I'm feeling bad and I'm feeling like, I'm really a bad person, I'm feeling bad and I'm feeling that this situation is really bad and people hate me and they don't like me, they treat me wrong, then that's my reality. And it is true, but it's not. It's just your thinking and your feeling, but not the reality. Holding yourself to a strict list of what you should and shouldn't do, that will be also beating on yourself, which causes anxiety. And most of the time, that's even increases the anxiety that you have, because then you either should do this or shouldn't do this. So there's not any space for just being human, for just being natural, and knowing that things will not always work out as we want them, to be. And then also labeling yourself based on your mistakes, or labeling yourself based on what people say to you, especially when you're anxious, right? You will always, many a time, reflect back for those people that told you that you were no good, that, put bad names on you, described you as a bad person. And you always get into that space where you feel now that maybe they were right. Maybe this is who I am. Maybe I'm not good a person. You start labeling yourself based on what other people have said about you. And that's not a good thing either, or even assuming responsibility of those things that are outside of your control, that somebody else does it, but you end up blaming yourself as if it's your fault. How to challenge anxious and worried thoughts. So here are some questions, and these ones here, what you can do is you can rewatch this again so that you can really literally rewrite the question and then answer them. So the question that you want to ask yourself is, what's the evidence that this thought is true that I'm thinking right now? What is the evidence that it's not true? Ask yourself that when you're worried about something, or something is in your mind and you cannot seem to shake it off. These are the questions that I want you to ask yourself. Is there a more positive or realistic way of looking at this situation that I'm facing? What's the probability that what I'm scared of will actually happen? If that probability is low, what are some of the most likely outcomes or things that could happen? And then ask yourself, is this thought helpful? How will worrying about it help me? And how will it hurt me? Very key to ask yourself, how will worrying about it help me? And how will it hurt me? And then lastly, what would I say to a friend who had this worry? If my friend came to me, talked to me about this worry, what would I say to them? Taking the moment to answer these questions will also help you to reduce your anxiety and your worry whilst you're thinking of answering these questions. So what I would do is write down all these questions, right, on one piece of paper. Do not answer on that one piece of paper. Let it be one that has all the questions, so that whenever, if you have even a way to laminate it, whenever you're going through worry, pick it up and then start answering these questions, whether you write them down or even verbally to answer the questions whilst you're going through it. It will help you take a look at what's really going on, but also to slow down your heart rate during the anxiety. Tip number 3, distinguishing between solvable and unsolvable worries. This is another question that you'll have to ask yourself. Is your worry solvable? Can you solve the worries that you have? So make a list of all the possible solutions. Focus on the things that you have the power to change. If the worry is not solvable, then your only choice is to accept the worry. Accept that I'm afraid at this time. Afraid that I'm having these thoughts this time. Accept your feelings, even those that are not comfortable. And by doing so, you're not saying, well, this is the way that I want to stay, but you are not fighting with the feelings that you're feeling. So what are some of those feelings of excessive worry or anxiety, that you might feel? Some people will start having, sweats, they start sweating. Some people will start trembling or having like chills like. Some people will have difficulty focusing and start saying that they're feeling dizzy or weak or, even fainting spells. And some people just feel nervous and just restlessness. They just can't seem to shake it off. And their heart is just, beating like fast. So those are some of the symptoms that, many people that have anxiety or excessive worry that we are talking about will be, feeling, or those are the symptoms that they'll be feeling. So by doing that and accepting it and just, relaxing yourself into those feelings until they subside, we'll talk about meditation, because at that time, you can either play meditation music, or you can just, learn to just quieten your mind and just relax. Again, remembering that this is only for the time being, the temporary, but you're worried about something, or there's nothing that is coming to mind of why this is happening, which is okay. Just relax into it and embrace what's going on. Tip number 4, you want to interrupt the worry cycle. And by that, you want to get up and move. And a lot of us, when we talk about exercising, right, we always think, oh, I don't have the time. I don't even know with my schedule. But when you understand that exercising is the best way to manage worry and anxiety, then guess what? 15 or 30 minutes a day is nothing, because you know that if I do 15 to 30 minutes a day, even an hour a day, it's going to help release the endorphins that will release, the tensions and the stress in my body. You will be happy to wake up every morning and go. You'll be happy to take a lunch break and go. You'll be happy to leave work and go. It's actually a good way, because if you're working from home right now, or you're staying at home right now, and you have a difficult time transitioning from work when you shut down the computer to shut your mind down so that now you can focus on home, it's a good way to take a walk and, break that monotony. And when you're walking, you know that, okay, I'm walking out of the work mode into my home mode, or relaxation mode, or, home environment mode, depending on what's going on in your home. But to make that transition, if you make it every day, that when I shut down my work computer, I have to do it when it's light so that I can walk, it also helps you to leave work on time, right? Because a lot of people, when I talk to them, they're like, Doc, I can't even shut down my computer on time. Many a time I'm working overtime because I have to do this work and I have to finish everything that, I need to finish. So what you want to do is make that a transition so that you can walk. Take a yoga or Tai Chi class. Beautiful thing about, YouTube is you can get all those classes for free. So what's important is that you make time to do that yoga or Tai Chi class. Did you even know what Tai Chi is? It's really cool. It's a really cool exercise that you can do. So take those classes and also, expose yourself to some of these things. If you've never done yoga or, meditation, they are all on YouTube. You can do meditation for beginners on YouTube. And I also have some videos for meditation on my YouTube channel that you can also tap into and do meditation with me. Practice what we call progressive muscle relaxation, and that is through guided meditation. And then try breathing exercises. So before I go even further, let me do one quick breathing exercise with you. We are going to do 3 breaths. And I want you to just find a moment where you can be comfortable. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, you can close your eyes. We are going to breathe in through your nose, and then we'll blow out slowly through your mouth. So we'll do 3 of those just to relax your mind and relax your heart. We're going to breathe in. And blow out. Breathe in. And blow out. One more breath in. And blow out. You may open your eyes if you had your eyes closed. You actually will start feeling better, like, oh, this feels really good. You want to also make sure, before we talk about tip number 5, watch your diet. Change your diet, because that helps too with stress, because many people will start eating bad foods for them, trying to soothe, those voids or stressful feelings and thoughts, right? But what that does, it makes it worse when you eat fatty foods and we eat, some of those foods that you try to eat when you are anxious. So instead, try drinking like lemon tea, green tea, and, in moderation. You can also, try dark chocolate to just have just a little bit to, move the crave. But, find in your meals things that you can do, supplements. I always recommend in that you do a search where you can find, information on different foods for stress that you can eat. Or if you have, your doctor, they have nurses in there that you can call and just ask the nurse for a list of the foods that you can eat in order to avoid stress and anxiety. They usually will have lists of the foods that you can eat as well in there. But monitor your diet and monitor how you eat. And then if you combine it with walking good, you're good to go. Tip number 5, talking about your worry. It may seem like, such a simple solution, but talking face to face with a trusted friend or family member really helps. And I know you're probably rolling your eyes and you go, okay, this is the pandemic season, so we can't even do those things anymore. I understand that, but try and do the FaceTime. WhatsApp has got, WhatsApp video that you can do, or you can even use Zoom and do Zoom video where you can see each other's face. There's something about just seeing, each other's face when you're talking that keeps the worries, away. I have patients that sometimes they'll say, well, I'm very busy today. And I go, well, that's fine. We can talk over the phone and continue doing what you need to do. And they go, no, I would rather see your face because it seems as if I'm sitting right there with you in your office when I see your face. So yeah, let's do FaceTime or let's do Zoom video, or something, whatever is convenient for them at that moment if they are away from their computer. So, don't try to make that an excuse that we can't see each other. Do it, in a video form or anything. It will start to feel normal and okay once you do it more than one time. Talk about your fears, to friends that you trust, friends that, you're not being their therapist, that every time that you make a phone call, they're trying to tell you their problems, and then it brings you back into your problems. So make new friends if your old friends know too much about you, or you guys talk mostly about problems. Try and build a strong support system that knows that, listen, we're going to have to also schedule time to talk about our problems and worries. So each time that I call, if the first 5 minutes we can talk about what's on your mind, the next 5 I talk about mine, and we set the alarm. Girl, when that alarm goes off, no more worries, no more. We're not talking about that. We better find something else that we can talk about. Hey, it'll be different. So try and do that, because that will, help you talk about those worries. Put time to it. I put 5 minutes, but that's not enough time. But you can put time in it, but make sure that before that conversation is finished, that you not only talked about problems, but you also talked about good things that made you laugh, that made you guys come back into a positive mindset. And then tip number 6, practice mindfulness. Worrying is usually focused on the future. It focuses on things that we have no control over many or time, right? So acknowledge them, observe that you're worried. Don't try to ignore them, fight them, or sometimes just suppress them and put them under the rug. Acknowledge that, yes, I'm worried, but let them go. Notice that when you don't try to control them, and you're just saying, you know what, I am experiencing this worry right now, and then go through those questions that we talked about, you will realize that you are taking power away from the worry. You are taking power away from the anxiety, and it's also bringing you back into the here and now, where you'll realize that when you look around, you are okay, things are okay, and there's nothing for you to be afraid of at that moment. I use candles a lot. I like to have aromatherapy, good smelling candles. So you'll find me with, a candle burning around the space where I'm working. So as I'm doing this training right now, I do have a candle that is right there on my counter when I look, but it smells good. It helps calm my mind as well and just relaxes my mind. So try to use aromatherapy or oils, rub yourself with oils that have a good scent that just relaxes you. And then number 7, if your worries are excessive and any of this questioning that we did and any of the 6 other things that we talked about are not working, and you continue feeling worried and anxious on a day-to-day basis and it's not going away, then it's important for you to find treatment. Talk therapy, which I do, talk therapy, and psychiatrists that prescribe the medications, as well as medical doctors who will prescribe your medical medications or do the full blood evaluations and assessments that you need. You need the whole team. If you're able to get the whole team, you need the whole team of a medical doctor, psychiatrist, and a therapist. If you have, excessive anxiety and you're now at the phase of looking for treatment. However, you can start off by just talking to a therapist and saying, this is what I'm going through, so that, they can also help you determine whether you do need the psychiatrist or the medical doctor. Or you can start with your medical doctor, let them know what's going on, let them give you some referrals of therapists that the doctor works with, because it's very important, if you have a therapist that can work with your doctor, that your team works together and everybody knows, who's working with what. And then, that way you can have and surround yourself with a great team. Learn different ways of thinking about and reacting to your anxiety. That is, look at the situations, as we spoke about earlier, of the triggers of the situations that are causing you to think in a certain way, to be anxious or to worry about different things. Watching TV, too much TV is not a good thing, and I'll tell you that straight up, because then many people give me this excuse that, oh, I just want to see the current news and what's going on. But what it's doing is actually triggering many people's anxiety and fears, and then they're having problems with sleep. They're having nightmares. They continuously have these dreams that, are scary dreams, and you don't want to continue feeling that way because you're continuing to watch the news that is fueling how you feel and feeling that way. So monitor the amount of time that you watch the news, or when you turn the TV on, make it less time and more of meditating, relaxing your mind, and calming yourself down, as well as rest. If you don't get enough rest, anxiety will many a time continue to stay with you when you're not well rested, when you are stressed out, when you are anxious, when you're exhausted. So try to figure out some rest. That way, your mind is relaxed. And remember, we talked about meditating. Meditate about 3 to 4 times a week for like 10 minutes per day, because every minute counts. But, start small and just do, 10 minutes a day for 3 to 4 days per week. That will work out. You can do the same thing with your walking, about 15 to 30 minutes a day, 3 to 4 days a week as well. That will be helpful for you to take care of yourself. Why should you go to counseling? Because you will learn some additional healthy coping skills that are specific to you and your life and where you are and who you are. So the therapist, what we do is we get a thorough history of who you are, but we want to enhance on your strengths and your capability of taking care of these worries and being able to manage them. So it's really, really a good opportunity to, develop new healthy coping skills. Where then do you find the therapists and mental health professionals? I want you to know that if you're working, especially if you have a job, now I'm believing around the world, they have a benefit called EAP, Employee Assistance Program. In many jobs, it's part of their package. This EAP is a complementary, benefit for employees to be able to see a therapist for free without paying anything at the expense of their company. Their organization pays billions of dollars to companies that we work for that pay for EAP sessions. So depending on your company, some companies will have 3 to about 25, 30 free EAP sessions that I have seen. So be able to use those EAP sessions and get yourself, talk to somebody. So it's a free session. You get those numbers from your human resources department, or your managers or supervisors might have them. You can also look around in your break rooms, in your benefits website. There's always that number that says EAP, Employee Assistance Program. You can call it 24/7. They have operators that will link you or give you a name of a therapist that you can talk to. And right now, the good thing is you can actually talk. If you're here in the United States, you can talk to a therapist anywhere in the state. Let's say you live in Georgia and you want to talk to somebody in Boston or in California, and they are a member of that, EAP. You literally could get permission to talk to that therapist that you've always wanted to talk to. So get an authorization, give them the name of the therapist that you want to see, or ask them for name of therapists, then call those therapists, get about 2-3 names, see who is vibing with you that you can talk to, and then make an appointment with that person. Contact your health insurance as well. At the back of your health insurance card is an 800 number. They will be able to also give you the mental health therapists that are in your area that take their insurance. That way you don't have to pay out of pocket if after you've used your EAP. company websites now have the list of providers that take their insurances. So check out your company website. You might have that privilege, of having all of the names of therapists, on your website. And then there's a link, www.psychologytoday.com. If you go to psychologytoday.com, you can enter your zip code, and then all the list of all the therapists in your area will come up. What I like about it is you get to see videos, you get to see websites of the different therapists, you get to see and read a write-up about themselves and the work they do, and you get to have a more informed choice once you look at those pictures and see those people in there, and then go to their website and check who they are before you can make an appointment. But the choice is yours. And I always want you to know, as a mental health professional, I let people know that, listen, the good thing about any treatment that you get, you can talk to me, let's say, for example, me, one session, and then you realize that, you know what, I don't think this is a good fit for me. I don't like the way that she talked to me, or I don't like what she said. You literally can just call in, or text message or email and say, unfortunately, I've decided, that I am not going to hold up to my next appointment. I want to cancel my appointment. No explanations, needed, but just do the courtesy, at least, that we won't keep you in the book thinking that you're coming in and then, you don't, because you've decided it doesn't work. But once you do that, you literally can call another therapist and talk to another therapist until you find the one that resonates with you, that you feel good talking to, and that works for you. So I hope this information has been helpful for you. And once again, if you want to know more about my programs, I do have digital programs that you will get to see me on video and hear some audios in some of those programs, that I do. So go to my website, www.drstemi.com, and that's the website right here, www.drstemi.com, and check out some of the programs that I have there. I also have some fun quizzes that you can take. Take some of those fun quizzes. There's an ebook that is there that you can have for free, and I have 3 other free ebooks that I also can send you. You can email me if you want those additional free ebooks. One is on my website. The other 3, I do have to email it to you. You can email me at drstem14@gmail.com. drstem14@gmail.com. That's drstem14@gmail.com. Until then, I hope that you will take these tips that I have shared with you. May you feel better. May you continue to be safe. Until the next training, be encouraged. This is Dr. Stem.